Hey gang, welcome back to the channel. So typically I don't really find an interest in doing cooking utensils and pots and pans because that's just kind of boring to me. However, this little new setup is pretty slick and I want to show you folks what it's all about. So this came from Stoke Voltaics and that might sound familiar, it might not, but they sent me this about a year ago. This is their electric kettle. And I was really harsh on this in a review I did on this channel saying that I'll never use it. It's kind of a gimmick. However, I ended up using this way more than my jet boil out on my camping trips, especially in the wintertime, because it's hard to get that isobutane to actually get hot enough when it's really cold outside to make a jet boil work. So I ended up using this way more and actually kind of like it more than my jet boil. So when Stokes reached out and said they had this cooking set, I was pretty intrigued by it. I wanted to try it out. So this is the Stoke Voltaic cooking system. It is electric. There is no option to run any type of propane, butane, isobutane, any of that stuff. This is electric only. So that might be a turnoff to some people, and I get it because you don't always have electricity. However, if you do have the option or ability to provide electric power to this thing, it's pretty slick, okay? It comes with 2 pots, and this is heavy duty stuff, guys. This is it's got some type of non-stick coating on it. There's really not much information on the exact material that this non-stick coating is, but it's really slick. Obviously longevity, I don't know. I just got this a few weeks ago, but I will be using it and give you folks an update. But it's a very heavy duty, it's not light, it's not a backpacking kit, because the one thing that I found that I don't like about this, it doesn't come with any type of bag or storage case. I'm gonna keep this box and I'm gonna put this in our RV, but I wish it did come with some type of storage contraption to put this stuff in. But this is what they call the sizzle pan, and you put a chicken breast or bacon or whatever. It's got some ridges here, so that's going to be mainly for like your cooking meat. And then you've got your actual boiling pot, and this holds up to 34 ounces is the max fill line, so you can put quite a bit of liquid in here. It's got a handle on it that you can detach, and it comes off, and you can attach to the sizzle pan. So clamp that on there. Now you got a handle for the sizzle pan. You can take it off, attach it to the pot. Pretty cool. This is what they call the reactor. This is what is going to nest on both the pot and the sizzling pan right underneath there. So you get this thing cut on, you set it down, and it gets hot. Now we're gonna do a test to see how fast it can boil some water, but it's got a little LED indicator knob up here. It's just a push button control center up here, and I'll bring you in closer when I turn it on. But this thing is adjustable from 200 watts all the way up to 1,000 watts. So if you just have a small power station, you can dial this in to 400, 600 watts to let that power station run this. Or if you have a bigger power station or just can plug into campground electricity, you can bump this all the way up to 1,000 watts. So pretty cool little gadget. And of course, you got the cord. It's just a standard 3-prong outlet that you can plug into a power station. So we're gonna get this thing plugged in the back. Right there is the input for the cord. So we're gonna get it plugged in. And I'm gonna get a power station. We're gonna do a little test and see how long it takes to boil a couple of cups of water on the 1,000-watt setting. All right, so the setup is I've got my power station here. We're at 95%. So we'll be able to monitor how long or how much battery it takes out of this battery to get to a boiling point of this water. So I got around 30 ounces of water, not quite a full liter. We're gonna pour it into here. And you can see I'm just below that 1 liter or 34 ounce line. And what we're gonna do, got the AC cut on. To get this little pot cut on, this little push button LED knob up here in the front, we're just gonna click it once and it beeps on, and then we're gonna press it one more time, and it starts out at the 200 watt setting. And that's pretty accurate. I'm pulling around 180-ish, 190 watts, but I wanna try it at 1,000 watts. So we're just gonna turn it. It goes to 400, 600, 800, and then 1,000 watts. And that's pretty dead on accurate. My power station, so 999 watts. So let me get my timer going here. We're gonna hit start, and we're gonna see how long it takes this to boil almost 1 liter of water at 1,000 watts. And the lid it comes with does have a little notch out for the handle, and also some drain holes if you're cooking pasta or spaghetti or whatever. You can keep the lid on and pour out the water. We're gonna put that lid on, see how long it takes. But here's a close-up view of that dial. Now you can see it does have a timer going down. So this has been going at 1,000 watts for 1 minute and 10 seconds. You can set this as a timer too to only cook for say 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever you want. So this does have a timer function. But if you just turn this dial, you can see that the wattage goes down. But I'm going to turn it back up to the max 1,000 watts and let this do its thing and see how long it takes. So that is pulling 986 watts. Okay, we're about 2 minutes in. We've already got, oh my gosh, we've already got little micro bubbles. Ow. So technically, that's not a rolling boil, but we do have some boils. I'm gonna let this go for a little bit longer and see how much we can get it to go. And you can, of course, move this handle while it's still cooking. And the base does not get hot either, by the way, guys. So you can touch the base while it's working and not worry about getting anything around it hot or you know, burning anything, obviously. So this is actually, that's a nice feature that this does not get hot. But I'd say we're boiling. That's 3 minutes. That's a pretty good boil. And that used 4% of my battery. All right, and the other thing about this is that it's still on. It's still running at 1,000 watts. When I take this thing off, it's automatically going to pause the heating element. So you can hear that beep. So it is now paused. It is not providing any electricity. 0 watts. And if you keep this off for 3 minutes, it's going to completely shut down the unit, so you know, you're not wasting any vampire draw or anything off your power station. But if I put it back on, it detects it and goes back to running at 1,000 watts. So it's got a bit of a smart feature built into it that you don't have to you know, cut it off, then take the pot off. You simply just remove the pot. Pretty cool. Well, I figure I'd just let this sit here and boil while I do my final conclusion on this thing. I think it's a nice little kit. It's not a backpacker's kit. It's not super light. But for me, I'm going to put it in our RV and use it to boil water to cook my kids' ramen noodles. They love ramen noodles. And this way, I can use the campground shore power that's free electricity, even though we're paying for the camp spot. But I don't have to waste my propane tanks in the kitchen on the propane stove to boil water. So I think this is going to be a much better option to get water boiling, you know, for whatever reason. And, you know, you can even put soup in it, whatever. Grill some chicken. I think it's just a pretty slick little setup. The only thing I wish this thing had, again, was some type of storage bag to put it in. That would make this thing excellent, but I'm gonna keep the box and just keep everything in there. But I think it's a nice little kit. It's around 240 bucks. I looked on their website and they're offering, I believe, a 10% discount right now on it. So that puts it to around 210, you know, whatever dollars, which is a little bit expensive, but they're good quality pots and pans. They're not my cheap little Ozark Trails, really thin pots. These are hefty pots. They're not gonna get dinged up and bent up very easily. So I think the quality on them seems pretty good. And overall, guys, I mean, it's boiling water. What else do you want to know? Obviously, this is probably not the most efficient way to boil water off of a power station, but if you turn it to 200 or 400 watts, it's gonna heat up your soup or whatever you're trying to heat up pretty quickly if you have a power station or can get hooked up to electricity somewhere at your camp spot. So anyway, gang, I'll leave a link for this on the Stoke Voltaics website. I'm not an affiliate of Stoke, so I'm not going to get any kind of money or any kind of kickback off of this whatsoever. But I'll leave a link for this little setup in the video description below if you want to check it out. But okay, it's getting hot in here now with this boiling, so I'm going to cut it off. Thanks for watching, gang. We'll see you soon. Take care.